except discuss personnel and legal matters. This moment in time, I'd like everybody to rise for a moment of silence. If you haven't yet made a New Year's resolution, maybe during this moment of silence would be a good time for you to make one. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a roll call, please.
Mr. Lawrence.
Here.
Mr. Novak.
Here.
Mr. Ray. Mr. Lindsay. Mr. Cantori.
Present.
Mr. Panza.
Here.
Mayor Shank.
Present. I'm here too.
Last but not least. Debbie, last but not least.
Oh, and Mayor Shank.
Oh, yeah. Think of it.
Go with last but not least.
Mr. Sampagna
Here.
and Mayor Shank.
Begging for attention.
Sorry about that.
We'd note that the two council members who are not with us this evening are absent due to illness in their families. Next item on the agenda is approval of minutes from our December 6th meeting. Can I have a motion for approval, please?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Tintori. Any comments, corrections, or additions to those minutes? There being none, all in favor of approval of those motions, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes are approved. Next item on the agenda is hearing of citizens. Anyone wishing to address council at this time, please step to the podium, identify yourself by name and address, and make your comments, please. Anybody? Okay. Thank you. At this point in time, I'd like to turn over to Mayor Shank for a community pride presentation.
Yes, I'm proud to read this community pride presentation for Debbie Gorilla. A resolution of the Borough of Greentree, Allegheny County, Pennsylvania, commending Debbie Gorilla for her services as Minutes website administrator for 25 years and expressing best wishes on her retirement. 5 whereas clauses. Whereas Debbie has announced her retirement after serving the Borough of Greentree for 25 years as the Minutes website administrator. And whereas Debbie began work at the Borough on January 6, 1997 as the Minutes secretary. And whereas Debbie, at the cusp of technology, designed and implemented the borough's website that would engage the borough citizens and provide a variety of ways for citizens to become involved and informed. And whereas, because of Debbie's creativity and dedication, the borough was awarded first place in the 2005 Borough News Annual Municipal Website Contest and second place in the 2005 Borough News Annual Newsletter Contest. And whereas Debbie's understanding of the importance to detail has contributed to the borough's success by transcribing minutes for council and planning commission, preparing quarterly newsletters, designing event flyers, communicating between borough documents, departments, and organizations, implementing and managing various media platforms, and updating the website to keep the residents informed. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Greentree Borough Council and Mayor would like to thank you for always striving to learn more, to be educated and empowered to take on more during your 25 years of service. Congratulations on your retirement, and we wish you the best on your new journey. Thank you, Debbie. She always thinks that.
There, there. Yeah, like you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Debbie.
So do we need a motion to do that? Approve it? Because I will move that we adopt the resolution 1297.
Second.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
That motion's adopted. Mr. Tintori.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to read and put forth three resolutions. The first one is Resolution 12-1298, honoring David Lorenzini for 8 years of service to the Borough of Greentree. I will read the resolution. Whereas David Lorenzini has unselfishly served on Greentree Borough Council for 8 years, and whereas during his term on council, he served as the chairman of the Planning and Zoning Committee, overseeing the updating of the zoning ordinance and several other issues and projects. And whereas he devoted his time and talents to serving on council and the residents of Greentree Borough. Now, therefore, let it be resolved that the Greentree Borough Council and Mayor would like to express the deepest appreciation and gratitude to Mr. David Lorenzini for his dedication and service to the Borough of Greentree and the residents of Greentree, adopted January 3rd, 2022. And therefore, I'm now make a motion that we adopt resolution 1298.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Resolution's adopted.
Good. Floral and hearty handshake. Come on,
There we go. Thank
there
you.
you go.
Good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for the consideration. Thank you. Everyone, thank you for the gift. Thank you very much. And all of you, thank you for allowing me to serve. Very much. It's a wonderful volunteer position. Highly recommended. Excellent, excellent administration that we work with. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Next, I would like to introduce Resolution 1299, honoring John Novak for 12 years of service. And I will read, whereas John Novak has unselfishly served on Greentree Borough Council for 12 years, and whereas during his term on council, he served as the chairman of the Streets and Public Health Committee, overseeing numerous issues and projects. And whereas John Novak has served for 12 years as Greentree's representative to the Shar West Council of Governments, and whereas he devoted his time and talents to serving on council and the residents of Greentree Borough. Now, therefore, let it be resolved that the Greentree Borough Council and Mayor would like to express their deepest appreciation and gratitude to John Novak for his dedication and service to the Borough of Greentree and the residents of Greentree, adopted this third day of January 2022. And therefore, I'd like to make a motion, we adopt resolution 1299.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The resolution's adopted. Congratulations, John.
Thank you.
You can make your comments from up here, John. Why don't you take your seat and make your comments?
Put on the chair there.
Okay, dear fellow Greentree residents, first of all, I want to thank you for having trusted me to serve 3 terms. During those 12 years, I was the chairperson of the Streets and Public Health. That included sewers, snow removal, paving and infrastructure, and also was a Greentree representative for the Shar West Council of Government. Most of that time, I was an officer. I got to learn how local government functions and try to do my best to serve the community. Some of these decisions were very difficult for me to make, so I had to pray before casting a vote. But we need to pray for our elected officials as the Bible tells us to do so. 1 Timothy chapter 2, verses 1 and 2. First of all, then I urge that all supplications, prayers, and intercessions and thanksgivings be made for all people, for kings and all who are in high positions, that we may lead a peaceful and quiet life. God has put elected officials into place. Romans 13:1 tells us, let every person be subject to governing authorities. For there is no authority except from God, and those that exist have been instituted by God. Proverbs 29:2 says, when the godly are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked are in power, the people groan. And in closing, I will say, I met a lot of interesting people from the different backgrounds. I will miss most of them. I will let the dust settle, and with my free time, I will focus on my later years of my engineering career, and I will be more involved with church activities. For the residents and the new council, I wish them a peaceful and prosperous new year.
Next, I would like to introduce Resolution 1300, honoring Mark Samponia for 16 years of service. Whereas Mark Samponia has unselfishly served on Green Tree Borough Council for 16 years, 15 of which were as president of council. And whereas during his term on council, he served as the chairman of the Public Property and Maintenance Committee, overseeing numerous issues and projects. And whereas Mark Samponia also served for 3 years as Green Tree's representative to the Shar West Cog Council of Governments, and currently is the borough's representative to the Congress of Neighboring Communities, or CONNECT. And whereas he has been a trustee on the board of Green Tree Public Library for 12 years, and whereas Mark Samponia has fostered several community initiatives and projects, including a farmer's market, a business district streetscape program, a summer concert in the park series, and significant upgrades to Green Tree Park. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Green Tree Borough Council and Mayor would like to express their deepest appreciation and gratitude to Mark Samponia for his dedication and service to the Borough of Green Tree Council and to the residents of Green Tree, adopted this 3rd day of January 2022. Therefore, I'd like to make a motion that we adopt Resolution 1300.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Resolution is adopted. First of all, I want to congratulate all the newly elected officials, and I wish all of them the best of success in the coming years. It's been a wonderful ride. And there are many people who I'd like to thank. Starting with the residents who supported me and whom I've had the honor of representing for all these years. In particular, I'd like to thank both the current and the former personnel of the borough administrative staff who manage the day-to-day operations and keep our local government running smoothly and efficiently and make it so much easier for us elected officials to do our work. 16 years ago, Dave Motz and I just knew each other to say hi at church. During the majority of my time on council, Dave became a mentor, a guide, and a counselor. And together we accomplished a lot of things. So I can't thank Dave enough for his dedication to the Borough of Green Tree, and most of all for his friendship over the last decade and a half. Finally, I wish to thank my family, especially my wife and best friend, Joyce. Been my best friend for 48 years. From the moment I decided to run for office, she always provided me with positive encouragement and support, and I truly could not have done it without her. And she's going to be so glad to get rid of over a decade and a half worth of paper in the house. Thank you, everybody. We'll move on to the mayor's report.
No report at this time. Thank you.
There's no president's report this evening either. We'll move on to the committee reports. First, Mr. Lorenzini, planning and zoning.
Thank you, Mr. President. First of all, I'd like to make a motion here. I move that we pass ordinance number 1861, approving the editing and inclusion of certain ordinances and resolutions as part of the various component codes of the codified ordinances of Green Tree in the form of supplement number 14 and 15. If I've got this correctly, this is something we do annually, kind of to clean up our books. So this is just the time to do that particular item. So.
Second.
Recognition.
Second by Mr.
Two
Novak.
and a half.
Any comments or questions? We'll do a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Lorenzini,
Yes.
Mr. Tintori.
Yes.
Mr. Panza,
Yes.
Mr. Novak,
Yes.
Mr. Lindsay, Mr. Campbell.
Yes. The ordinance is adopted.
As far as a general report, the zoning board will have a public meeting this Thursday here at 7 o'clock, January 6th. The owners of 800 Trumbull Drive are requesting a couple zoning variances for signage. And secondly, in respect to the planning commission, they had a meeting on December 15th on just a message. I know that they've been working on a dumpster and a portable storage container. I request, Ms. Miller, the administration, when it actually comes to council, I think they've already taken into consideration, but just to double check to make sure to remember, the people down in Rook, unlike a lot of other places in Green Tree, a lot of them don't have driveways. So they don't have the possibility of putting that on their own property, just to take it into consideration, make sure it's reminded to keep them in mind that they need the extra space so that they are able at some point to work on their homes or storage or things like that. And so when it comes up, please to make a note there. And that's my last general report. Take it away.
Thank you very much. In Mr. Lindsay's absence, Mr. Panza, could you do the public safety resolution, please?
I sure can. I would like to move that we adopt resolution 1301, authorizing the borough manager to execute a traffic signal maintenance agreement with the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation in the Green Light Go grant application in the amount of $240,000.
Second.
Motion is second. One of the questions that, does this mean that PennDOT is going to do the traffic maintenance, or do they sub it out? Do you know?
No, nothing will change. We just have to re-enter into the agreement in order to go through this Green Light Grow application.
I understood. Okay. Any other questions or comments?
So this is just a paperwork.
Yes,
We have to do this paperwork so that it can continue on. That's all.
yes, and this will be for the intersection at Green Tree Road and West Manila.
Any other questions? All in favor of the resolution?
Yes, Mr. President. I guess the only thing is, the only good news we got right now with this is we haven't used any salt this year so far, so that's a good thing. But that's the end of my report, Mr. President.
In Mr. Ray's absence, could you do the public property and equipment, please?
Sure. I move that we adopt resolution 1302, authorizing the disposition of public records as described on the attached schedule marked as Exhibit A.
Second.
With motion second, I just comment that these are typically, there's a record retention schedule that the borough maintains. And when certain records reach a certain age, they become eligible to be disposed of properly. And that's basically what we're doing here. Any other comments or questions? All in favor of the resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That resolution is adopted. Mr. Totori, Finance.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to make a motion to ratify the actions of the Borough Manager in paying the December 2021 invoices from the general fund totaling $150,224.28. Sanitary Sewer Maintenance Fund totaling $8,245.78. Capital Projects Fund totaling $10,300. Bond Fund totaling $36,753.29. Payroll account totaling $204,104.29. In Educational Service Agency totaling $4,985.62.
Second.
Motion is second. Any comments or questions?
Yes, Ms. Miller, are you familiar with what all the checks are being paid for?
Which one in particular?
I don't know.
Just use one last question, yeah. I do look at them all the time now, just because I'm trying to be prepared for the Mr. Lorenzini question.
Please, somebody take over for me.
Any of the
gonna
big
miss you.
ones,
We're
any
gonna
of the
miss
big ones, right?
Do I could phone it in, right?
Please.
No, you have to come.
Okay.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved.
Thank you. Next, I'd like to make a motion to approve payment of the January 2022 invoices from the general fund totaling $16,852.42.
Second.
Any comments or questions?
No,
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved.
Thank you. That's the end of my report. We're gonna miss you.
Mr. Panza, Recreation and Community Affairs.
The only thing I need to report is after 2 years, we will finally have our first Oktoberfest meeting on Monday, January 24th at 7:30. All are welcome. If anyone doesn't have any idea what Oktoberfest is, it's our annual event and we're always looking for volunteers. Anyone can apply and we take all. So thank you. And that's the end of my report.
Thank you very much. Mr. Novak, do you have a Charles Cog report?
Yes. Yeah, I have, we had our council of government meeting here in this last month in Norton, Tory and Ron Panza made it, which was nice. And John Weinstein was supposed to be, he's the county treasurer, was supposed to be there, but he had to speak at another commitment. And we also passed our budget with no increases in dues. Other than that, that's the end of my report.
Thank you, John. As far as the library report goes, the library board met on December 21st, and the board at that time approved a balanced budget for 2022 in the amount of $227,182. It includes a transfer from savings in the amount of $26,687. The library received on Give Big Pittsburgh Day, which was on November 30th, we received donations from 7 donors, which totaled $410. And in addition to the Love Your Library matching amount that I reported at last month, the Jack Buncher Foundation donated $5,000 to each Allegheny County Library Association library. And Green Tree Library will apply this money to new tablets and to collection expenses. And finally, used book donations will be accepted this coming Saturday, January 8th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. In anticipation of the fall used book sale. And that is the end of my library report. Ms. Gerson, any solicitor's report?
Nothing to report this evening.
Ms. Miller, manager's report.
Just wanted to remind the residents that Public Works Department will be collecting your Christmas trees that you would like to recycle. Obviously, just the real trees, just put them at curbside and they'll be, you never know. Everything's recyclable these days, but just the live ones from January 3rd through the 17th. And if it happens not, out there for a couple of days or into the next week, just keep in mind that they do have a lot of other things going on, maybe snow removal at some point. So, and then just lastly, I just wanted to thank Mr. Lorenzini and Mr. Samponia and who else do we have? Mr. John. Well, John, technically, you're still going to stick around. That John actually offered to help me go through some of those engineering proposals, but Just, it's been a pleasure working with you.
Thank you.
I miss
Thank you.
That's it.
Thank you.
Mr.
Thank you.
Thank you
Panza.
very much.
At this time, I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn this meeting.
No. Second.
We're adjourned, right on time.
And
Get going in
Rena
about
said we
3
could
minutes.
never do it.
Yeah, what do you say?
I'm now going to call the reorganization meeting to order. The first order of business this evening is I have the pleasure of introducing the Honorable District Magistrate Craig Stevens, who will administer the oath of office and loyalty oath to our elected officials.
He has yours as well as the others.
I'll ask Mayor Rochelle, Shannon, Craig, and Jim. Just an extra one. When I state I, I'd like each of you to state your name, and then I'll go through the oath. Each of you. Ready? Raise your right hands, please. I state your name. I. Do solemnly swear. Do solemnly swear that I will support, obey, and defend. That I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States of America. The Constitution of the United States of America. The Constitution of this Commonwealth. The Constitution of this Commonwealth. And the ordinances of the Borough of Braintree. And the ordinances of the Borough of Braintree. And that I will discharge my duties of council member. I will discharge my duties as council member of the Borough of Braintree. Of the Borough of Braintree. With fidelity. With fidelity. I further swear. I further swear. That I have not or will knowingly receive. That I have not or knowingly receive. Directly or indirectly. Directly or indirectly. Any money or valuable thing. Any money or valuable thing. For the performance or non-performance. For the performance or non-performance. Of any act or duty. Of any act or duty. Pertaining to my position. Pertaining to my position. Other than compensation allowed by law. Other than compensation allowed by law. I do further swear. I do further swear. That I do not advocate. That I do not advocate. Nor am I knowingly a member. Nor am I knowingly a member of any organization that advocates. Of any organization that advocates. The overthrow of the government of the United States. The overthrow of the government of the United States. Or of this Commonwealth. Or of this Commonwealth. By force or violence. By force or violence. Or other unconstitutional means. Or other unconstitutional means. Or seeking by force or violence. Or seeking by force or violence. Deny other persons their rights. Or deny other persons their rights. Under the Constitution of the United States. Under the Constitution of the United States. Or of this Commonwealth. Or of this Commonwealth. And I do further swear. And I do further swear. That I will not so advocate. That I will not so advocate. Nor will I knowingly. Nor will I knowingly. Become a member of such organization. Become a member of such organization. During the period that I serve. During the period that I serve. So do you each solemnly swear or affirm? I do swear. Congratulations. Welcome. Great. This is just your signature. Grab that off you in a minute. Sir. Jen.
Last time I sat in one of these chairs, I was hosting Santa at the library.
Want to thank the council for inviting me for It was an honor to be here this evening and swear in the mayor, of course, reelected, and the new council members. Good luck to each of you. This was my last stop this evening, so I was at the height of our Scott Township previously, so thank you for having me. And good luck. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Judge.
A roll call, please.
Mr. Panza,
Here,
Mr. Tintori,
Present.
Mr. Ray. Ms. Barron,
Here,
Mr. Romanovich,
Present.
Mr. Tarosi.
Present.
Mayor Shin.
I'm present. Thank you. Next thing, we're going to elect the president of council for the next 2 years. I call for nominations at this time.
I would like to make a motion that we nominate Art Tintori as president of Green Tree Council.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Do we have any other nominations for president of council?
I would make a motion that we close nominations for president of council.
That's enough. Is there-
No, that's Robert's rules.
I'm teasing you. Is there a second motion to close? Is there a second to the motion to close?
I'll second it.
Okay. Mr. Tintori, if you're elected, would you accept?
Yes.
Okay. I'd like to do a roll call vote at this time.
Okay, Ms. Barron,
yes.
Mr. Romanovich,
Yes.
Mr. Tarosi,
Yes.
Mr. Panza,
Yes.
Mr. Tintori.
Yes.
Okay, congratulations. And Mr.
Bear with.
To get reelected in 4 years to hold this again.
There you go.
Get it every 2 years.
2 years.
Okay, thank you, fellow council members. Next, I would like to introduce nominations for the election of a vice president of council. So I'd like to call for nominations.
I would nominate Mr. Panza.
I'll second that nomination.
Okay, any other questions, any other nominations?
I'd like to make a motion to close nominations.
Second, we need a second.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. That is it. So I'll make, okay,
Thank you.
that's it.
Thank you, everyone.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
I'll be there to sign checks when you can.
Thank you. Okay, next up, we'd like to provide the members with an opportunity to make statements. And first up will be Councilperson Shannon Barron.
Thank you very much. I really wanted to start this new year with so much uncertainty going on in our world. I wanted to really begin thinking about all the things that I'm thankful for and express my gratitude. We are all members of great and thriving communities, whether it be at our places of work, among our friends and our family, and of course here in our lovely borough of Green Tree. And as we begin this new year together, I really wanted to thank those especially who have been so supportive of me and through all of my endeavors, but especially as I've decided to run for council and be on council. I'd like to thank the entire Green Tree Democratic Committee and our friends, my running mates, two of whom who sit next to me today, but also Deborah Demi, my neighbors and close friends, those that I sit on the Green Tree Women's Civic Club together with and on Oktoberfest with, and all of the other things that I love doing here in our community. My parents, Mike and Mary McNeil, my brothers and their families, and most importantly, my husband Russ and our two children, Jake and Zoe. I am so humbled to be representing the Green Tree community as a member of council. As a woman, as a mother, and a friend, I am honored that our community has elected me to give voice to our council. Being a public servant is an honor, and I aim to lead with compassion, equity, and informed decision-making for the present and for the future of our borough and our residents. I look forward to getting to know many more of our residents, working alongside my council colleagues, our mayor, our borough manager, and all of the many people who work every day to make Green Tree great. When you are a part of a community, you never do anything truly alone. And together, we learn from the past, we celebrate today, and we grow our future. Thank you, Green Tree. I look forward to all of the things that we'll accomplish together.
Thank you. Next, Councilperson Craig Romanovich.
Yes, I didn't come as prepared as Shannon did. But first, I want to thank our outgoing members of council for their years of service that they provided to this community. It was folks like them that made the decision for my wife and I to move to Green Tree that much easier. I want to say congratulations to the mayor on his reelection. My fellow running mates here, Mr. Ray. And I also want to say thank you to everybody else out there that helped work on this election to bring me here to this seat. Having your faith in me to work as hard and as diligent as I can to continue to grow Green Tree, to hopefully attract as many new residents as we can as they space comes available with new home sales, so on and so forth. Yeah, I just want to say thank you very much. And I'm hoping that the relationships that I have both at the federal and state level help benefit this community as we move forward. Thank you.
Next, Councilperson James Troisi.
Thank you. I'd like to start off by saying thank you to everyone for allowing me to accept this humbling and awesome responsibility that you've entrusted us all with for the next 4 years. Especially want to thank my family, my wife Cindy, my daughter Elena, who was very helpful during our campaign. Also, my daughter Sarah, who is watching us stream because she's located in Chicago, who was also very supportive of my campaign. I would like to thank the members of Planning Commission throughout the time I served on Planning Commission. I learned a lot about local government and our community, just serving with those people and getting their ideas and being able to discuss my ideas with them and come to a consensus on how we felt it was best to move forward, not only with the zoning ordinances and regulations, but other parts of development of our community. I want to thank the current members of the Planning Commission for stepping up and volunteering. Christine Short, Jessica Switch. I hope they find it as rewarding as I did, and I'm sure they'll learn a lot, although I know Christine has been volunteering in the borough in many different hats and wears a new one with Planning Commission. Thank you again to my friends and fellow candidates for your support. Our current council members and our past council members, and even the candidates who ran against us. I think it gave our community the best look at how to move forward. And I just hope that I can live up to your trust in helping Green Tree grow and move forward. And thank you all.
Thank you. Next, I would like to ask Mayor Shea.
Okay, thank you. Shani, I think I know which one Zoe is. She's working the room. Okay. In regard to, I was listening to John Novak talk, and it gave me a thought. So if I'm promoted from mayor to king, I'll get more prayers, right, John? Thank you. In regard to, I was fortunate that I got to run on both tickets, so I was unopposed. However, there were 30 write-in votes, as my son indicated. He was surprised they only made 30, he's here tonight, Martin, and he was surprised they only made 30 enemies during my tenure. But anyhow, I'm going to move on from there. There's been a lot of change in the borough during the last in the last year. We have a new borough manager, we have a new borough solicitor, we have a new president of council, the borough engineer, we're going to replace him with a firm. We have 3 new council members. Debbie's leaving. So that's a lot of change. So that's a lot of institutional knowledge that we're going to lose. But we still have people that are staying. We have some good people taking their place. A change is inevitable. So I'm looking forward to working with the 3 new council members and members that are still here in the future. So I think we're doing fine, even though we're going to have to work hard because of all that change. As mayor, a couple things, a couple more memorable things during my last term. The most memorable was the Tree of Life. But I went to memorial service for the Tree of Life, not at the Tree of Life. I grew up 1 block away, so that affected me. But anyhow, I went down by Amerifit, so I'm good now. We went to Amerifit, and everybody, I went early. It said 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock. I wanted to show my solidarity. So I got there 5 to 9, and there were 4 people in the synagogue. I go up to the rabbi and say, did I get the right time? And I told him who I was. I'm a Great Tree. I told him I wasn't Jewish. I'm a good Catholic boy, went to Central Catholic. He says, you as a Catholic boy asked the wrong question on a Jewish service. You don't ask when it begins, you ask when it ends, and you come 1 hour before it ends. So it was from 9 to 12. So by 12 o'clock, there were at least 1,000 people there. So 9 o'clock, 4 people. By 12 noon, there were 1,000 people. And towards the end, he called up and gave a blessing to all the public officials that were there. So Rich Fitzgerald, I didn't know who was going to be there. Connor Lamb was there, Rich Fitzgerald was there, Dan Miller, and myself. So that was good. So I was proud to represent Green Tree on that. Just 2 other quick things. During COVID, I got to marry one of our officers. So I don't know if you know that mayors can marry people. I've married about 12 people, so I've been, I enjoy doing that. I don't know what the Catholic Church thinks, but that's a different question. We won't go there. But I have married 12 couples and did so to one of our officers, young police officers. And then during the last years, a couple of years, I've held mayor's office hours. The chief also has, he comes to those, and he also has coffee with the cops. So that's good. So we try to communicate as much as we can. I'd like to thank a couple of people. Thank my wife Kathy's here with my son. She's been very supportive. 16 years ago, we had 5 new people, not just 3. I was the new mayor. Mark Samponia was elected 16 years ago. 3 other people, test my memory, Paul Kirsch was elected. Dan Behana was elected back then, and who was the other? No, she was already on. I'll come up to me in a minute. But anyhow, we had 5 new people, and we made it back then. So, and then I'd like to thank Mark, John, and David for all their years of service. Like it's going to be different looking at different people, but like I said, we'll move on. And then lastly, I'm technically in charge of the police department, at least on paper. I think we have a great police department. The chief lives in the borough. He's made lots of public connections. Everybody knows him. He's well known, probably more well known than myself because he's out there every day. So I'm glad, and we have a great staff. So I'm looking forward to the next 2 years, 4 years working with the group here. I was the longest, but I've been on council the longest, so I got to speak the longest. But thank you, everybody, for coming.
Thank you. Okay, I see that I am next. So I would just like to say, I agree with the mayor. We have a lot of challenges. We have a lot of new people, and that's good. We need some new blood. Everybody needs to turn around things. We got to still have a solid borough. We're certainly going to have a lot of challenges. Everybody here, though, we're all Green Tree residents. So it's, you know, I mean, we're here for everybody. So we still have the open door. You need to ask anything, please do. We're here for you. Things will always be different because that's a good thing. I also would like to thank my co-members of council for putting their faith and trust in me and support to be the president. As we grow here, you're going to have to give me bear with me as I grow into this office and see how we do things. It'll be an interesting challenge. And I also too want to thank David and John and Mark for all your excellent work and friendship over the last many years. You guys have been great. That's the one thing, you know, really, everybody is a Green Tree resident. We all looked at it that way. We've always worked together good, no matter what people say or no matter what people, you know, in any election campaigns, we're all together. We care about each other. And we're going to keep doing that. And we're here for you. It's your community. We're just part of the show. So that's all I have to say. Thank you and look forward to a couple good years. Thanks. Okay, next up, we need to set the date, time, and place of regular monthly council meetings. And I believe I just do that.
Yeah, I would just announce it.
I'm going to announce that the regular meetings of Green Tree Borough Council will be held on the first Monday of each month in 2022, except in the months of July and September. The July and September regular meetings will be held on the second Monday. All meetings will begin at 7:30, prevailing time at the Green Tree Municipal Center, 10 West Manila Avenue, Pittsburgh 15220. Adjourned meetings will be held on the second, third, and fourth Mondays of each month as determined necessary by council at 7:30, prevailing time in the Green Tree Municipal Center, 10 West Manila Avenue, Pittsburgh 15220. So we are going to continue the same time in the same place. Next, we need to have a designated official publication because we still put out a number of notices that need to be put out for public notice. And we are indeed, again, using the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette as our designated official publication. Okay. We have some liaison reports. Oh, wait a minute. That is all I have. I got the wrong page. See, we're going to get through this really good. Okay. Next, I have to designate the official borough auditor. We're going to authorize proper officers to sign agreement for services with Hozak, Specht, Mutzel, and Wood. What I can tell you though that I think next year we will begin to look to identify other possible auditors after so many years. Not that they're doing nothing wrong, but typically after 6 or 7 or 8 years, you cycle in someone else just to make sure everything's cool. So we probably will be looking to do something like that for next year. But for 22, we are keeping the same auditors. Also, we need to designate a delegate and an alternative for the Shar West Council of Governments. So do we have any volunteers? We can always do that. Can we do that later if we don't, since we don't have a full house here?
Yes.
But something to consider. Mr. Novak would be more than happy to give you some great information on the value of our cogs because we do so much with them. So once again, that is our first meeting of the reorganization. Thank you, everybody, so much for showing up. We would like you to stick around, network a little bit, and we have some refreshments. And I would like to ask Mr. Panza.
At this time, I would like to make a motion that we adjourn this meeting.
Second.
We're adjourned. Thank you so much. Happy 2022.